Hello, I'm Richard Ridge for BroadwayWorld. Emmy and Golden Globe Award winner Jim Parsons is back on Broadway in David Jaberbaum's new comedy, An Act of God. And we're here on opening night to celebrate with the company. It's your Broadway debut, right?
It's our Broadway debut!
No, but it's his though, right?
It's my Broadway debut. Yes, he's done it so many times.
I've done
my
it so many-
Broadway
I've done
debut.
a lot of-
yeah,
of
my
the Broadway.
wife. Okay, my wife made her Broadway debut in 1974. She's up in the dressing room now.
In Evita, right?
Yeah, no. What was it? Good News?
Good News?
Good News, yeah. And so here it is 35 years later, I'm making mine. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's probably not the math. I checked the math on that. From 74 to 2015. But it's a lot of years.
It's a lot of years.
Like 41 years.
He's
later, I'm making mine.
116,
I
and
am-
it's like
You look
make
good
your
for an
Broadway-
angel.
It's
I'm
You've put on-
Methuselah.
He wears so much sunscreen. You can't believe what it should look like. You know.
What kind of insight did he give you what today was going to be like for your debut? Did you ask him anything?
Yeah. He told me to wear Depends. So I
All night, right?
Yeah, all night. Yeah. And to tip my dresser. Yeah. And to tip the doorman, and the stage doorman, and but
have a lot of fun.
and to
right?
have fun.
Yeah,
Yes.
have fun.
Yeah.
Well, I like the first four. Fun you were going to have, but those other ones I've never heard before on a debut.
Yeah. No, that's.
Well, yeah. There's rules. You gotta. Yeah. And don't touch anything on the set.
Don't touch anything on the set. Don't
Don't
whistle
move
backstage.
it. Don't pick anything up. Don't.
Yeah,
You know,
don't
yeah.
look at the star.
Don't whistle.
Well, that's the
Yeah.
thing about Jim Parsons. We're not allowed to look at him, and it's
Yeah.
annoying, but we've worked it out.
Because you could
know.
turn into stone.
Yeah, you could.
We're going to talk about him. What is it like working on stage with him? Tell me.
Yeah.
He's
It's all
all
right. He'll do.
I think there's two new angels coming tomorrow, I think.
He'll do till something better comes along.
Yeah. Jim
All right.
Parsons,
It's a-
be honest now.
Be honest. All right. It's like getting a free master class in comedy every night. Just sit there and go, yeah, that's how that line should be delivered. It's ridiculous.
The most affable, dexterous, like available human being and actor, and it's like it's awesome. And I've seen it now a lot.
Yeah.
And every time he's always shading something new, and
He's
and it's-
affable and laughable. And it's a hell of a combination.
Oh, you are so good.
And working with David.
David,
That one.
he's right over there. David is right there. He's genius.
Yeah.
I was nominated for an Emmy once. He's got 13 sitting on his toilet. Unbelievable. This guy he's a freak.
He's really,
Yeah.
really good. And really bright and smart.
Yeah, and we're sitting there in Tech Week, and he's just like a joke machine, just throwing him in, ka-ching, ka-ching. I'm going,
Totally.
Gee, how does he do that? Yeah.
If you could sum up the best part of the experience so far with working on this show, what's it been for each of you?
Meeting this guy.
This guy. Being an angel with
My
Tim.
long lost brother.
Yeah.
Or my long lost son. Okay.
That's the best part.
I think the company has been amazing. It's just been an amazing group of people, from writers to
Okay.
Jim to Joe to you to the whole thing. It's just been like a
It's-
dream group of people to spend some time with.
Okay, I thought I'm going to New York, I'm doing a Broadway show, it's going to be like, heavy, cutthroat, Pussycats. Everybody's.
It's true. You were kind of like, is everyone usually this nice?
Is everyone this nice? Oh my God. Is everyone on Prozac? What's going on? They're so nice around here. I can't believe it.
That's going to change tomorrow. So.
Welcome back to Broadway for you. Welcome to Broadway for you. Broadway, how does it feel?
It feels it's surreal. I've been telling everybody like it's just hard to accept that this is happening in a wonderful way. It's a state of disbelief, which I suppose for this show is appropriate.
You've written for off-Broadway. You went to Hollywood, you went to television. I mean, there's nothing like Broadway. What is it? We spoke very early in the process. You guys had just started. What's the whole experience been like for you?
Well, just being on Broadway, it's the ultimate live audience. It's the ultimate goal. And television is great, and having millions of people see your stuff is great, but it's indirect, it's electrons in the air. Whereas with a theater audience, it's live, it's really there, it's a visceral, palpable, living thing that exists for an hour and a half and then goes away, and it's a wonderful experience to be part of that. And to have people last, a comedy writer, to have people finding your stuff funny and to see them enjoying it, that's kind of as good as it gets, for that.
How did you decide to turn your book into a play?
Well, I've been thinking about it off and on, but then Jeffrey Finn, our producer, approached me and was very active and said, I think it would be great, I really want to do this. and we started working on adapting it, and I started taking the stuff that I had, the raw material from my book and the Twitter account, and trying to give it a shape and make it a theatrical thing rather than just a bunch of random jokes strung together. And that's been going on for about a year now. And then we brought Jim Parsons. He was interested in doing this when he read it along with Joe Mantello, our director. They wanted to do it, and that was when the surreality of it sort of first happened. Like, oh my God, they want to do this. And it's been ongoing ever since. And now it's done. The script writing is done, and it is what it is, for good or for ill. And it's been a wonderful experience. It really has been. It's hard to believe. It's like too big to swallow.
What a dream team. I mean, working with Jim Parsons, what that's been like for you, honing this with him.
Every night he has a perfect performance, and then the next night it's better. And I realize, okay, it wasn't perfect, let's think it's better. And he's so winning and so likable, and he just, you have to be there. To see him live in a room is different than seeing him on TV, as wonderful as that is. Just to see the full humanity that he conveys, and that particular quality, to invest the divinity with humanity is really the goal of the show, and he does that so well. It's amazing. Plus he memorizes everything. It's an hour and a half, essentially a long monologue, and he's just wonderful, amazing.
Was he off book early on?
He was pretty much off book at the beginning of rehearsal, yes. And he accepts changes like a machine, like entering code into a machine. And then he takes the code and makes it into something a human being would say and think and feel. Amazing.
I've been working with Joe Mantello, your director, what that was like.
You have absolute faith. You have absolute faith, like, oh yeah, please take the helm of the ship, please. I'll just sit back here. If you need me to add a line here or there, just tell me. I'm just going to sit back and let you do it. Just total, absolute confidence and trust in his vision.
What do you remember about the first performance in front of a live audience here at Studio 54?
You mean the first preview? Just how thrilling it was to hear people laugh. And it's hard to explain if it's not what you do for a living, to have people laugh at your jokes, but just to hear that with 1,000 people, it's just a really gratifying thing in my soul.
Is it different writing for the theater than it is for TV and film?
It's a little bit. I mean, it's a little different than you have to write for. It has to be gotten immediately. You can't edit it. There's no editing possible. So it has to be funny immediately, and you have to write for character. You have to just think about the specifications of working in a live thing with the acoustics, the effects you can and can't achieve, and something that can be repeatable night after night after night. When you write on a variety show, the whole point is that it changes night after night after night. This has to work every night, and yet still have room for life and vitality.
If you could sum up the best part of the experience, David, what's it been for you so far with working on this and being on Broadway?
I just think seeing Jim Parsons do this every night and watching him get better every night from an incredibly superior starting point, and seeing that how much a great actor can really bring to something, to see that on your own material, to see that how much it can be enhanced by a great actor has been a remarkable just learning experience, and just experience in general for me.
First of all, welcome home. How does it feel?
Thank you for having. It's wonderful. I love being here so much. I can't tell you. Both in New York, doing plays, and being in Studio 54 specifically, it's wonderful.
And playing God.
Yeah, I mean, look, it has its perks. There's a lot of infallibility written into the role. If you say it, it's true. You're God. But some pressure as well. He has a lot to say. He could let some other people talk sometimes, but he doesn't.
And just what you love about the play, David's writing.
Yeah, David, it's so funny what he wrote. It's got such a wonderful rhythm and a structure to it, and yet he takes it to a place of such thoughtfulness, I feel. And everyone hears it differently. Even I hear it differently night to night. But there's no denying that David's just had some real poignant thoughts about religion. I don't even know what his religious beliefs are, or if he has any.
Nobody knows.
You can't tell, and I don't think you can tell from this script, because if you think he just plays fast and loose with religion, I think you're in for a surprise when you get to certain parts in the story and go, oh, well, you've thought about this in a way that maybe I, as a religious person, never have actually, and it's really impressive.
So growing up, going to church, when you were working on this, did it bring back thoughts?
You know what it was? I loved going to church as a child. We had a good time there, my family and I, when we went. But more than anything, I was shocked at the amount of familiarity I had with so many stories that are brought up. Noah and the Ark, obviously, but even like Abraham and the chosen people. And at one point, God says, I've decided to pick some chosen people that I will incentivize through an enticing real estate offer. And you're like, I can't remember exactly what that is, but it's funny because I know something about that. There's just a lot of that in there. I do think this play in particular it would be specifically enjoyable, oddly as it may sound, to people who are religious and who have gone to church. They're the ones who understand what's being said.
You know, there's nothing like Broadway. The process, David was telling me, there were changes all during previews. He would give you changes, which you would just throw in.
Yeah.
Did doing TV help you with that?
No. In some ways, doing TV hurt me with that because I felt fearless about the changes he was throwing in, because when our changes thrown in, you have as many takes to do them as you want, and it's happening right there. This was this double fear of, especially it was something like at the 30-minute mark, say, and so the change would be there, and that was all I would think about going out there in front of the audience, like that change is coming, and sure enough, you just trip over it, and then know that you need to say it again the next night. So no, it didn't prepare me. If anything, it kind of harmed me. Luckily, it's been about a week now that he's quit making changes. God bless him.
And being back here, you had such a great success in Harvey here. Yeah. Being back in this theater, what it means to you?
I was just saying earlier that there's so many theaters I'd love to work in. I did Normal Heart in the Golden, and I love the intimacy of the Golden. And I would love to get to experience other theaters, but it is really nice to come back someplace you've been before. And because it's not just that it feels a little bit like home, but it feels, the space. And as a performer, the more you know a space and understand it, the better you can play it. The stage, the audience, everything. And so I feel I did immediately feel more comfortable just stepping out there. It was a non-entity, this house. It was like, there you are again.
My final question is, just being back here in New York during this time of year, being in the theater, what it means to you?
I spent many years in New York as a sometimes working, sometimes very often struggling actor, and too often than not, I was making money on things that were either just a day long or out of town, and then living here unemployed, and which is not fun in itself. But the satisfaction of getting to be here and being a contributing part of the electricity that is New York by being a contributing member of the work going on, it's one of my favorite things I've ever gotten to do as an actor.
Thank you for always coming back.
Oh my
Jim,
God, thank you for
good to see you,
having me.
buddy, as always.